Niklas Anttila's 2024 was one of the most impressive seasons on the year, and probably the least talked about also. And despite him liking it that way, let's shine a light on this year's performance. This season only saw Anttila become the most lucrative European pro after a 4-year deal and promotion to Discmania Sky Team, the first Finn to get a dgpt victory in the MPO, a top 3 finish in points, a signature disc drop, and even a nomination for Finnish Sports Personality of the Year. Oh, and nearly $100,000 in total winnings. I'm Swiss Cheese with the Disc Golf World, the YouTube channel for all your fast-hitting disc golf news. We got yet another Discmas video for the masses. And before I dive into yet another player profile, this one featuring the Fortnite playing Nordic phenom, allow me first to thank those on the Patreon page for making this Discmas happen. Can't forget you guys who are watching. Thanks for all of your support. And while we're on the subject of support, why not support the channel by hitting that subscribe button if you already haven't? Guys, it's free and we're just too close from hitting 26K. Anttila's season would start off with a cryptic Instagram post saying it's time to turn a new page in my career. That post and Burr's anticipated signing had many believing he was departing Discmania and just as instantly becoming one of the top targets this past offseason. Turns out House of Disc would lock in the European talent to a 4-year deal that estimated him to become the highest paid European disc golfer. His signing would become one of the best acquisitions this past offseason, and that includes his too tall teammate Burr, who completely overshadowed him both figuratively and literally, as the two have had a back and forth since that 2022 USDGC. However, the amount of years on that deal, the promotion to the star team, and the dollars attached prove House of Disc's commitment to one of the best disc golfers from Europe. The stage was set from there for Anttila to not only prove his contract was worth every penny, but stamp his presence on today's game also. And that he did, with not 1 but 2 DGBT victories, 4 podiums, all second places by the way, one of those being this year's Worlds, as he has only finished second at a third of the majors he's played in just his short 3-season career. In fact, he has as many second place finishes at majors in his career as the amount of times he's finished outside the top 10 at them. But all you guys still want to focus on Heimburg and Rick's major performances instead. Add 2 top 5s and 6 more top 10s at DGPT events, including the kickoff tournament to Chess.com, where he finished 9th, only to have him shift to the Texas Swing and a future Stenson hat. The 2 Discmania offseason acquisitions would battle it out alongside a creaky Luke Humphreys at the season's first plus event of the year at this year's Waco. Anttila, after going 20 under over the 2 days at the Beast, headed into the final day 2 strokes off the lead sitting on chase card. From there, he would only go 12 under through 16 holes, heading into the final 2 holes with a 3-stroke lead. And sure, he had a little help from a fence hit, but most of you guys already forgot about that. Sitting on 17 with his first victory in sights, he would go OB on his drive that resulted in a 2-stroke swing heading into 18. A par there had him only able to watch Gannon birdie 18 to beat both him and Humphreys. Still feeling that sting of going OB on 17 at Laco that costed Anttila his first DGBT victory, had him heading into the Open at Austin with not only a Ricky Bobby style presser, but the right mindset to win at the very next opportunity, which would come shortly. Had a day 1 ace that saw him on SportsCenter and headed into the final with a 2-stroke lead over a crowded leaderboard, with only a cluster of a dozen or so players with a realistic shot at a win. Niklas would need to overcome more than just that on the final day, with weather delays, less holes, darkness, even more pressure-packed moments, and another challenging teammate, this one being Kyle Klein. Anttila fell victim to OB again, this one coming on hole 6 as its devious design caused his disc to plinko off trees and into OB, resulting in a double bogey and a plummet down the leaderboard behind a pack that included AB, Kyle Klein, Cole Redolin, Corey Ellis, and Calvin Heimburg. Keep in mind, holes were limited after weather delays forced TDs to cut 3 holes off the track, as most anticipated this opportunity not to be Anttila's. With only 7 holes remaining, he birdied holes 8, 10, and 13, plus an absolute clutch eagle putt on 11 that drew Anttila within a stroke of co-leaders Heimburg, who was on chase, and Klein from third card with only 3 holes to play. And after parking his approach just outside the bullseye of 14, Anttila looked at a chance for a share of the lead with only 2 holes to play. But he would hit the band harder than Darude Sandstorm's baseline playing in a sports arena. Sure, that song is only 8 years younger than Anttila, but it still bangs in its finish. Now you get the tie-in. That miss left him needing to birdie the last 2 holes to win. It was a tall order as holes 17 and 18 were the least birdie holes on the course. And though it looked like Anttila would be a bridesmaid yet again at another tournament, he instead would not be denied this time, as this tournament and finish became one of the signature moments of the year. Despite darkness making the basket barely visible from his 46-foot birdie look, Anttila would bury it in the chains, needing only to birdie 18 to become the first Finn to win a tour event. Would go to throw an absolute pure flip to flat drive that became the drive of the tournament on that hole, and possibly the event. Even better than that ace earlier on day 1. And a circle's edge putt away from Anttila achieving a goal he set on his first trip to the States in 2022. That putt and the emotion that followed was the highlight moment of the year, whose emotions in that moment was a far departure from the finished smile we have all gotten accustomed to from Niklas. His putting stroke would be showcased yet again during his second victory of the season, this one in Europe at the Turku Open in Finland. Down 5 strokes at the start of the final day, Niklas put together the hot round of the tournament that started with a 72-foot putt from the knee for birdie on 9. Despite being one of the top putts on the year, his back half was just as equally impressive, birdieing 8 of the final 9 holes, including the final 7, one of those being yet another C2 putt from the knee. The remainder of his European swing would be an up and down from there, a top 5 at Krokol, and finished 1 place off of that at the European Open, but finished outside the top 30 at the European Disc Golf Festival only a week later to cap off the European swing, and one of his more disappointing finishes on the year, that had him heading back to the States and most importantly for World. That would not start off quickly for Anttila, as he would need to climb back from down the leaderboard. But after the hot round on the final day at New London on day 3 of the event, finally saw him on top of the lead card. He would cut down Isaac's lead down to 3 after day 4 finished, looking to make some more waves on a final day performance. Unfortunately for Anttila, after hole 6, he would find himself 6 strokes off the lead, but would rattle off 4 straight birdies from there and close the lead back down to 3 with 8 holes remaining. But then hole 14 happened, and I'm guessing you guys all remember. That's where Heinold's Hill had all those spectating speaking Finnish under their breath after another fucking ridiculous rollaway. Credit does need to go to Anttila, whose lowlights on the season are still highlights on the Disc Golf Pro Tour year. He was able to recover for yet another second place finish at a major. And guys, there's just no real way of knocking on the door that frequently in only the 12 times playing a major in his career to not get one eventually, right? No, I'm really asking, because at this point I'm not sure if I or Finland can handle another. But I certainly believe it's a matter of time, because he has already proven that he continues to perform at some of the biggest moments and events for that matter. And it's that it factor that separates the top 3 from the rest of the pack. Yes, to many watching, his form is as gross as the sound of salted licorice, but he makes it work for him, enough so that we no longer question it. Anttila's disc control has him not only in the top 10 in fairway hits on the season, but near the top 10 in most statistics off the tee, and all that rarely puts him out of position to attack from there. And if Anttila can continue to progress forward, should remain near another top 5 finish next year, if not higher, as he is good enough to push for points leader next year. Already one of my favorites, I'm expecting big things next season. But where do you think he ends up? Well guys, that wraps up another Discmas video and a player profile at that. If you've enjoyed and not subscribed, make sure to do so. And if you haven't already, hit that like button, comment, and share.